These are the extra parts that I bought for my M1 Garand. I purchased these from Midway USA. They have a website, midwayusa.com, located in Columbia, Missouri. And what I ordered was a set of springs. Now, there was nothing wrong with the springs that came with my rifle, but I just wanted to replace them with some new springs. It doesn't cost very much to do this. Here you get a new recoil spring. This is a hammer spring. These two little ones are the ejector and the extractor springs. And I got these springs, like I said, from Midway, but these are wolf springs. And note, recoil and hammer spring are extra power. The other thing I ordered was I ordered a new gas plug, because this is an adjustable gas plug. Very easy to install. You simply unscrew the old gas plug and screw in the new one. Or if you notice, the old gas plug is solid, it's not adjustable, and they make these new gas plugs now that are adjustable. Comes with an Allen wrench, and you can turn this little screw in there, which opens up the holes and allows gas to escape. And this just allows you more control, especially if you want to use some of the newer 30-06 loads that they're coming out with these days. Are more powerful, and they can damage your op rod at full power. So this allows you to control the amount of gas that pushes that op rod back. Easy to install. You just replace the plug, replace the old one with the new one. Here's how you replace the recoil spring. To remove the old recoil spring, you just compress the spring, unhook it from the follower there, pull the spring out. Now I'll remove the operating rod. Just pull this back to this slot right here, tilt it out, remove it, and I'll remove the bolt. Just pull it forward and just lift it out like that. Here's the old recoil spring, here's the new one. As you can see, the new one is a couple of inches longer, although if I wanted to use the old one, I could just simply stretch it back to its original shape. If your recoil spring has become compressed, you can pull it, stretch it out some, make it a little bit longer. I just counted, in both the old spring and the new spring have each exactly 199 loops. And I believe the difference is the newer spring seems like it is a little bit heavier gauge of metal, and that's probably why it is a extra power spring. And the old spring probably has just been compressed through years of use, and it looks like the loops are a little bit closer together. And I believe that I could just carefully stretch this spring out to the same length as this one, and it would be just like having a new spring. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the new spring in my rifle, but I'm going to go ahead and stretch this spring out to the original length, and I'm going to save this as a spare spring. I like to have spare parts for my rifles, which is why I bought this set of springs in the first place. I really didn't have to replace the springs, but I just wanted to give my rifle a new set of springs. And one other thing I wanted to buy, they didn't have it at Midway at this time, but I want to buy a new firing pin too. There's nothing wrong with this firing pin, but I just like to have a spare. So I do plan on buying a spare firing pin just to have on hand. The new spring is 21 1/4 inches long, and the old one is 19 1/4, so the old one has lost apparently 2 inches of its length. So wearing these gloves so I can get a good grip, I'm going to go ahead and stretch the old spring 2 inches. Now when you stretch a long spring like this, you want to make sure that you stretch it evenly, and the way you do that is to just stretch it a little bit at a time, moving down the entire length of the spring as you do that. Okay, I didn't really stretch it much. I'll have to do it a little harder. Okay, we're getting there. Got about an inch of additional length out of it. Need to go another inch. There it is. New spring, old spring. And now I can put the old spring away with my gun supplies and have that as a spare spring in case I ever need a spare spring for my Garand. And I'm going to use this new extra power spring when I put my Garand back together. See the condition it's in. This is before, and we'll take a look at a picture of after. Here's the finished product. Now I completely disassembled all the metal parts of this rifle and cleaned them in the manner that I showed you. I didn't put all of this on video because it was just too involved. So if you want to know the details about disassembling and reassembling an M1 Garand, I recommend the video or the DVD from the American Gunsmithing Institute. And you can buy this at Amazon.com by clicking on the link at the bottom of this video. And the rifle appeared to be clean. When I first looked at it, I thought about not even completely taking it down and cleaning it. But I'm glad I did, because in the parts that you couldn't see, it was very dirty. The sight works much better now. There was actually mud and sand underneath the sight here, and also underneath this lever here, which releases the clip. There was actually mud and sand underneath that thing, and so it works much better now. So I'm glad that I completely disassembled the rifle and cleaned it. And of course, no M1 Garand is complete without an M1 bayonet. I purchased this from the CMP also. This is their $65 bayonet. It's not their most expensive one. They also have 16-inch bayonets, which are considerably more expensive. I have had an opportunity to shoot this rifle, and it does shoot very well, and it is very accurate. And I'm looking forward to many more years with this rifle, and also passing it down to my grandchildren. Since I had stock refinishing supplies left over, I decided to go ahead and completely refinish the stock on my Remington 742 as well, and I think it turned out quite nicely. I also took this opportunity to completely disassemble and clean my Remington 742. I hadn't previously completely disassembled this gun since I bought it secondhand or used, with of course the help of the American Gunsmithing Institute. Here's the one for the Remington 742, which I found invaluable in disassembling and reassembling this rifle. And of course, that's a Ruger 1022 stuck in the middle there. This is Survival Doc, reminding you, be prepared, or be prepared to be fleeced.
This message is a warning, and to you it has been sent. But the curse will fall upon you if you're willing to repent. Remember, some will be protected, but most of us will die. The remnant will be captive. To God you'll hear them cry. Here it comes, it's gonna get you. There it goes, it's gonna hit you.